Imagine a world where you can't trust your eyes or ears, where reality is distorted and manipulated to spark a global crisis. It's a chilling prospect. I've been digging into the latest developments in AI deepfake technology, and what I've found is alarming. We're on the cusp of a new era of deepfake warfare, where AI disinformation can be wielded like a weapon. As I delve into this topic, I'm reminded of the old adage, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but what if that picture is fake? You're probably familiar with deepfakes, those eerie videos or audio clips that seem almost indistinguishable from reality. But what you might not know is that they've become increasingly sophisticated, making it nearly impossible to tell what's real and what's not. And that's what makes this technology so dangerous. It can be used to manipulate public opinion, sway elections, or even spark a war. I know it sounds like the stuff of science fiction, but bear with me, because this is all too real. The military has been experimenting with deepfake technology for years, using it for military deception and psychological operations. But now, the stakes are higher than ever. National security is on the line. Imagine a deepfake video of a world leader making a provocative statement, or a fake audio clip of a military commander giving a false order. The potential for chaos is endless, and it's a prospect that keeps me up at night. As I explore this topic further, I'm drawn to the analogy of a master forger, the kind of person who can replicate a famous painting or a valuable document with eerie accuracy. But instead of a brush or a pen, they're using AI algorithms to create their forgeries. And just like a master forger, they can make their creations almost indistinguishable from the real thing. But here's the thing, deepfakes aren't just limited to video or audio. They can be used to create fake documents, fake social media posts, or even fake news articles. It's a form of AI disinformation that can spread like wildfire, causing irreparable damage to individuals, organizations, and even entire nations. And that's what makes this technology so insidious. It can be used to undermine trust in institutions, sow discord, and create social unrest. As I consider the implications of deepfake warfare, I'm reminded of the concept of information warfare, the kind of warfare where the battlefield is the mind, and the ammunition is information. It's a subtle but potent form of warfare, where the goal is to shape public opinion, influence decision-making, and ultimately gain a strategic advantage. And deepfakes are the perfect weapon for this kind of warfare. They're stealthy, sophisticated, and devastatingly effective. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about the experts? Can't they just detect these deepfakes and debunk them? And that's a fair question. After all, we have some of the brightest minds in the world working on this problem. But the truth is, the technology is evolving so rapidly that it's hard to keep up. It's like trying to hit a moving target. Just when you think you've got it figured out, the target shifts, and you're back to square one. And that's what makes this topic so fascinating. It's a cat-and-mouse game between the creators of deepfakes and the detectors. It's a game of wits, where the stakes are incredibly high, and the consequences of failure are dire. As I ponder the implications of this game, I'm drawn to the analogy of a cyber arms race, the kind of race where nations and organizations are constantly trying to outdo each other in terms of technological prowess. But in this case, the arms race is about who can create the most convincing deepfakes, and who can detect them the fastest. It's a race that's being fueled by advances in AI, machine learning, and computer vision, and it's a race that's showing no signs of slowing down. As I reflect on this topic, I have to admit that it's made me a bit more cynical about the information I consume online. I mean, how can you really trust what you see or hear when it can be manipulated so easily? As I look to the future, I'm wondering what's in store for us. Will we see a world where deepfakes are the norm, and reality is just a distant memory? Or will we find a way to harness this technology for good, using it to create more realistic simulations, or more engaging forms of entertainment? The possibilities are endless, but one thing's for sure, we need to be aware of the risks, and we need to be prepared. So, what can we do to protect ourselves from the threats of deepfake warfare? For starters, we need to be more critical of the information we consume online. We need to fact-check, verify sources, and be cautious of anything that seems too good, or bad, to be true. We also need to support the development of technologies that can detect and debunk deepfakes. It's a complex problem, but it's not insurmountable. As I near the end of this journey, I'm left with a haunting question: what happens when the line between reality and fiction becomes so blurred that we can't tell what's real anymore? It's a question that sends shivers down my spine, and it's a question that I think we all need to be asking ourselves. As I sign off, I want to leave you with a thought: in a world where reality is increasingly manipulated, how can we trust our own perceptions? If you're as fascinated by this topic as I am, be sure to subscribe for more explorations of the intersection of technology and humanity.